Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So, I was going through some of my old musings today and just sort of scanning the different titles and thinking about, like I'm coming up to the 150th musing in just a couple of days. And I thought, what is something that I haven't talked about? And before I even had a chance to answer that, it struck me that the one thing, the underlying running commentary of almost every episode so far has been that of mindset. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, I know I've said it in several episodes, but your mindset is truly, it's something that is in your control. Whether you believe it or not, it is in your control. It may be, like if you have a negative mindset, and if you want to have a more positive mindset, it's going to take time and some training, and it's going to take constant, regular practice. Even those of us who have a fairly positive mindset most of the time still have to, flex that muscle, still have to pull ourselves back, out of the quagmire of day-to-day, mudslinging and get back on track. And life is not all roses, it's not all, puppy dog kisses and whatever. So there are dips. There's definitely dips. You can't stay like this, or you can't stay above the fray even all the time. You just can't. It's just not in our nature. I don't believe that there's any human who always stays at that level, even some of our most revered. But what I do find is that with constant practice and with constant mindful practices, what happens is that when you do dip down below, when something upsets the apple cart, so to speak, or pisses you off or whatever, you can jump back up much quicker much quicker than you could when if you're always in a negative mindset. And so I started looking up, what are some of the feelings that we have when we're in a negative mindset. And here's just some that this research showed: anxiety and stress, fear and insecurity, sadness and depression, anger and frustration, resentment and envy, low self-esteem and self-worth, and isolation and loneliness. That's like 14 different things that a negative mindset will foster within us. So then I thought, okay, well, let's see what a positive mindset does. And so there are 10 things that a positive mindset sets you up for: optimism, contentment, joy, resilience, gratitude, self-confidence, courage, motivation, calmness, and inspiration. So given those two sets, 14 for negative and 10 for positive, where do you want to live? That's the choice you have, right? And I mean, these are not exhaustive lists by any stretch of the imagination. They're just the ones that came up, fastest and are the most common. But you have a choice about where you want to live. And like I say, if you are already living in a negative context, if everything you look at, if everything you read, just puts you further and further into a negative space, then it's going to take more work. Let's be honest. But it's not impossible to flip the switch. It's keeping your mind open and wanting the change. It's like anything. It's like any habit we have, a good habit or a bad habit. If we've got a bad habit, we want to flip it. If we bite our nails, we want to have long nails, then we've got to flip that, right? It's the same thing with a positive mindset and negative mindset. If you want to flip from a negative to a positive, you're going to have to do the work. But once you've done the work, And even though it's a, constant little tweak here and there because of the world in which we live and, our human nature, it's possible to have that happen faster and faster and with less and less effort. And so your day goes forward being light and joyful rather than heavy and cumbersome. And that's what I'm using for the day. Have a great one, everyone.